Goes nothing. Good afternoon from the Command Module Venture from sunny West Virginia. I'm in the mountains still, and it's day 305. I've had very little I needed to maintain on this ship. It's an inTech Soul Horizon. It's been a perfect vessel to camp in. But recently I noticed I had a problem with the refrigerator. It was not closing correctly, and more importantly, it was not opening correctly. And the latches on these RV refrigerators are plastic, and you don't want to break them. So I wanted to look at the situation closely, and it looked like the right top hinge was coming loose. So I researched for at least 2 hours on the internet, and there's nothing about it, not a thing. And what I did find is, and I'm speaking about a Norcold 4104 refrigerator that's in the inTech Soul Horizons, and it's a three-way, 3.5 cubic foot refrigerator. Newer Soul Horizons don't have that; they've moved on from three-ways, but mine is a three-way, and it's already discontinued. Parts are getting scarce, and so I found all that out on the internet, but didn't really find much on how to address the problem. Certainly there are no videos. So I took the time to do a quick video on what I found. It's a very simple fix, but it's maddening to try to find out how to do it, but I've solved that. So you'll find a couple problems, and I'll talk about those later. So the first thing is you get on inTech's website and you look at their manuals for the Norcold 4104, and it's an installation manual. There's no service manual. So it talks all about installing it, but you have to get a top decorative piece that houses the electrical display board, more or less, but you have to take that piece off because that covers the hinge, the top hinge, and so the manual doesn't cover that. So I went to the Norcold website, and sure enough, you can look up the 4104 and look. It's not necessarily a service manual, but it is a parts list. In that parts list, you'll see an exploded diagram, extremely simple exploded diagram of how that piece is held on. It's held on by 2 screws. You have to take off the decorative sticker that shows, that it's a Norcold, and you have to take those off to expose those screws. And I'll discuss that here. Okay, so I'm having trouble with my door hinge, or at least I want to inspect it, because the door has developed some slop, which manifests itself into a weird latching situation. So I want to inspect this, but you have to take off this part, and no one has a video in the free world of doing that. Now, to get to the screws, you have to peel this back, and there's a screw. There's going to be one on the other side, so I'm trying not to damage this right now. So stand by. And so really, in order to not drive yourself insane, you need to peel that whole thing off. And there's actually 2 pieces to it. There's an outer sticker that has the text, and then there's this inner thing. Both have adhesive, so I don't know how well this is going to stick back on, but I'm not thrilled with the design of this. You'll notice it held on by hex nuts, tiny little screws rather. Hex head. What kind of collective morons would design something like that? I don't know. And it took a very, very, very small bit. I used a star bit. I didn't have any hex, but I was very careful and very slow. So here's the unit itself. Once the two screws are off, it comes off. Here's the back side. You can see the posts. This is the little button tab mechanism. You don't want to break that. And there are the two screws with the star thing I used. Now, first thing, when you come in here, you'll see the board that you want to be careful with. But look at this hinge, or the screw rather. It's come loose. Let's get a better shot of it. Yeah, so I'm very happy I've taken the time to address this, because it's almost backed all the way out. And if I lose this door, that's a crisis. So I'll come back here in a minute. Okay, so now I've snugged that screw all the way down, and there's absolutely no play in this door. And my first idea was, when I'd go to open the door, this latch was very hard to open. And the latch is only plastic, so you don't want to break that. The magnets might hold it closed, but you know. So it was very weird to open. But now it's just like it was. I'll get another shot. And so see, it hangs very nicely now. It moves. And this screw, if I can zoom in on it, part of the head just under the screw is flat. There's no threads on it. And that coincides with this actual hinge. So the threads don't start until lower, which presumably are into this female part of the fastener. But so there's just a nice straight unthreaded face that coincides with the hinge. So now it's sitting down, and you know, everything's, you know, opening and closing like it should. And you can see right here where I had to pry in there. There's no easy way to do it without damage, but it's pretty good. Okay, now the top is secured with the two screws. The sticker and plate, the sticker and the sticker plate, because it's two pieces, is pressed back on as best I can and gently. One thing's for sure, make sure of your settings, because since you're pressing on the sticker, you don't want your settings to change. So that's it. And finally, what I found is that, again, these parts are scarce. The refrigerator is discontinued. There weren't many listings for parts, but I found one listing, and you'll notice that the top black piece of plastic that you have to take off to expose the hinges is not uniform side to side. Apparently they made one for if the door opens to the right, or the one for the door opens to the left. And here's a kit I found, and the price, you'll notice that. But this happens to be not for inTech Sole Horizon owners, because our refrigerator opens to the right, and this listing I found clearly shows that this is a piece for the left. So you don't want to break any of this stuff. And but this is a kit that includes the hinges, the screws, a new label, but I'm confident I got mine back on correctly, or at least I can fix that. That's minor. You just don't want to injure it. You don't want to bend it because it might be mylar, a very thick piece, but it's either thin plastic or thick mylar. So you don't want to put a kink in it. And that's it. It's been a long time, and just wanted to show you this thing that was getting aggravating, and beyond aggravating, it was getting concerning. So I took care of it, and really, again, it's one of the only things I've had to take care of on this trailer. It's been flawless. It really has. I'm very happy. See you later.